and welcome back to Universal Love Law. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm going to do the dark-sided Aquarius video today. So we're going to focus on the negative traits of an Aquarius, the dark-sided. With that being said, I'm going to give a disclaimer that, everyone is not going to display these kind of characteristics. This is the dark side. We're not talking about the light side or the good or what they do well. We're talking about the way people are brought into this world. It's specifically Aquarius energy. They're born different. Dark-sided or not, they're born different. They're very aware, and so when they become dark-sided, it's usually a choice. People don't really be trying to mess with no Aquarius because they come out kind of like off and ready for war. But I wanted to first say, I'm sorry, I've been doing these videos back to back. But anyways, I wanted to just first and foremost say that for you Aquarius dark-sided people, you might not have all of these traits. Or for someone who's a cross-watcher watching for someone who is a dark-sided Aquarius, they may not have all of these traits. So we're not going to pin this on people and say all Aquarius act this way. This is a darker side and more jaded and traumatic, people that went through experiences that have transformed them into acting in their lower self. So I think it's really important for us to be authentic, realistic when we approach the dark side of things, because we need to evolve. We're here to evolve. We're here to better ourselves. No one wants to be depressed and angry or hurt or all of these things. Some people do want to be that way. Stay away from them. They're dark-sided and they know it and they want to be. But some people just have these darker traits. And sometimes it could really prevent a person from a lot of pain and suffering if they do the research on certain signs and see the dark side, so that they could kind of look for red flags. Okay, so let's jump into this today. So so first and foremost, the Aquarius energy is fixed air, meaning it is fixated on its own way of thinking about things, okay? Because it is mental, it's the communication, it is air. So they like to stay fixed, meaning not mutable, blending in, or not cardinal, initiating, like, okay, follow me like a leader. No, they're like, you lead, you fit in, I'ma do me. Like, they want to be in their own bubble and excuse me, they want to be in their own bubble and they want to have their own identity within and amongst any group. So the Aquarius energy, they naturally meet friends because the way they come off early on is very light and airy. They don't like to attach to people. So before you know it, Aquarius dark-sided person will be in group and friendships out of nowhere. Like, how are we friends? I guess we friends because whatever. They don't always necessarily choose their groups. Their groups kind of gravitate to them and pull them in. Like, okay, you're one of us. So when the dark-sided Aquarius person is really, displaying those negative traits, usually they're displaying a trait as if they know it all, because they will be amongst a group and they will be with people and they will be agreeing and they will be disagreeing, and the whole time they are evolving into narcissistic type of people that judge other people based on the way their mentality is and the way they think and the way they have their common sense and their level of intellect. They begin to become very observant in that, right? So they're very intelligent people. Some of them not so intelligent, but still they have a knack for kind of observing people and seeing where a person is mentally. They deal with the mentality, so they can become know-it-alls. So that's like the very first streak. Like, okay, now you'll start seeing them act like they know it all. And this goes from one spectrum to another. They could just know it all and be very close-minded, like everybody's so stupid, but still be around people and still deal with people and still have friends and still be in groups, but always call people stupid and dumb, everything that they do. It can also be the extent to where they know everybody's business. They literally know it all. And so they can have no excuse me, they could not agree with nobody, but they could be listening to you, and you'll be like, you know what I mean? And they'll be like, so what did you say she did though? Like, they don't care to agree. They share that type of energy with Libra. They don't care to agree, but they will, depending on the circumstances. So they could be very messy. Also, that is how the Libra energy could be too. But even those dark-sided Virgos, dark-sided, remember. So the dark-sided Aquarius can be very messy. They can utilize friendship tactics to get people to open up and talk to them about their business, when really they're very detached and they don't care if you're their friend or not. They're already sized you up and are waiting for you to try them so that they can lose you as a friend and tell you how stupid you are. That's how messed up and jaded those dark-sided Aquariuses are. They could lack remorse, and they could lack that ability to empathize with people, and that could just be a natural thing. Like, you could sit there and cry your eyes out to a dark-sided Aquarius about some crazy stuff, like some real dark stuff, and they could say like, man, I feel bad for you, but they don't feel it. Okay, they're just like, not you. They are so aware of how much of not you. Empathic people, they feel your pain. They feel what you feel. Me, I feel a person's pain when, like, in the way they carry themselves. Sometimes I can't be around people because I tap into their frequency, and it's kind of invading, and I don't like to invade, but I'm just empathic. The Aquarius people, they are very intelligent. They are empathic, but they are detached and cold, even in their abilities, their psychic abilities. They're able to sense your frequency and sense where you are, and they either gonna deal with you based on the circumstances. They're very circumstantial. They're very fickle and inconsistent. They're ever changing. That Uranus energy causes the Aquarius people to change frequently and like leave places frequently. Like that Gemini energy, they don't stay in one place at one time for a long time. Like the Taurus, they'll be like, let's just chill here and then go there. Like the Aquarius is like, no, let's go over here, let's do that. So they could be very unpredictable, and they can always change how they feel. You could tell them about how your dog died, and they'll be like, I feel bad for you, and then 5 minutes later they could just change how they feel. They're super unpredictable when it comes to their reactions to you, their responses. They want you to be on your toes as well, because the thing about Aquarius dark-sided people is they don't want you to predict them. That boils their skin when a person is nosy on them. But they are nosy on a lot of people, the dark-sided ones. They observe. They want their little scientists. They study life, and they study people as if they're not people. Like they're just some foreign beings, and they're just studying humans like, oh, this is what you guys do, or this is what all people emotional like you do, or this is what every boss does. Like they just study everyone, and they are very detached in it, because that's kind of their role here. I'm not going to get into the esoteric reasoning behind the Aquarius and their purpose and what they're doing on a subconscious level for the entire humanity and mankind. I'm not going to get into that, but that's something to think about. We all have roles. All signs have roles. And in its highest peak, it's a balance. It's always going to be good and bad, but in its highest peak, the role that each sign plays out is necessary and needed for our survival. So they have a role in that whole observing and science minds and looking at human beings and doing human studies on people without you even knowing. they doing it. So yeah, they're very unpredictable and they don't like to be predictable. When you start watching a person, dark side of Aquarius, they will not like you. They'll be like, what are you looking for? Now I'm gonna mislead you. So then they start playing mind games with you, and they are excellent at mind games. They like, it's like they're so aware of how thirsty a person is to know them that they do things that aren't even true, or they'll befriend a person and just to set them up. If you get an Aquarius and Sagittarius together, they can be ruthless. Like in friendships, they can. You guys in the comments, let me know if you have very close Sagittarius, the Aquarius people, the dark sided Aquarius, dark sided Sagittarius in a relationship. Power couple, but not in a positive way. They're ruthless and they could do very dark things. So in the underworld, Aquariuses could be major frauds. So they can be really into the dark web. They rule and control the internet. And so they have accesses to things. Ask me how. I'm not sure. I don't have that gift outside of my I do have that gift, kind of. I have some Aquarius energy with my peer groups and things of that nature. So, but outside of that, the Aquariuses, they have access to things. They're just so smart. They're able to put things together, and their mind kind of operates like a computer. So they're able to break into devices and like they could be on a really dark sided Aquarius. They can hack your stuff. They could lock you out of your stuff. They could be very vindictive. Like the dark-sided Aquarius person, they seek revenge because they just want to get even and they don't care after. Like Scorpio might hold on to the revenge forever. Now, dark-sided Aquarius person, they might think of a way to ruin your life and just disappear. Like, okay. And they don't even need you to know. Like a Scorpio, they want to see you beg for mercy. And like they'll be laughing over you like, yeah. But the dark side of the Aquarius, they don't care if you know or not. They'll put some stuff in your car, some sugar in your tank. They'll do some stuff and they don't care. They'll be your friend and be like, you'll be telling them, I did this. Somebody did this to my car. And they'll be like, who you think would do something like that? Like they just detached. But they are very unpredictable to keep the control of things. A more healthier state in mind, Aquarius person, they're not going to set you up that way, even though they can, their mind thinks they just very protective with their own energy and with their belief systems. But another dark thing about the Aquarius energy is they associate with people that they can learn from and adapt to, like not adapt to, but take things from. Another copycat of the zodiac, kind of like Sagittarius energy. They could befriend people for the experience and then move forward. Like they just use people for the ride. Like, oh, thank you. Like you think of a hitchhiker, right? They're like, oh, thanks. I don't have nothing to give, but thank you for getting me where I am. Like they have experiences just to experience it. They don't care about the connection and the bond. Where you come, there will be many more to come. And that's why they keep themselves surrounded by people. They got their day ones. They got their people that they know they have. And then they got the people that they could just have fun with, play with their mind a little bit, observe them, do things to make them tick. And you just waiting for them to say something to they're just waiting for you to say something to them. Because they're just mapping you out and reading you like a book. So they're very unpredictable to keep the control. And they can be very narcissistic, meaning that they lack empathy for others and they seek victims. They seek people that they can victimize and that are weaker in some way. They like to gang up buddy with a lot of people so that they can observe other people and talk about them. They're air signs, so they're prone to discussing other people's business. So they can be very gossipy as well. But they don't like to, they rebel off everything. they'll start talking about somebody with you, and then when you start actually talking about them, they'll change the subject. They do really weird, quirky things. You know, they're eccentric. They're like electricity. They do things sporadically and really unpredictably. So I've been talking a lot. I've been talking for like what, 2 hours now. But I got to get these videos out because sometimes I procrastinate. That's that dark-sided Sagittarius lazy energy, you know. Anyway, so yeah, they can be very narcissistic. Oh my god, I cannot say it. But they look for victims. So they look for, like, you know, there's always someone that's gonna befriend an Aquarius until they realize how crazy they are. It's something very peculiar about them that people want to be around them. But eventually, once people see how cold-hearted the dark-sided Aquarius people are, they want to just detach from them. They don't want to be friends anymore. They want to just stop. You know, they don't appreciate it anymore. People don't like to be taken advantage of, and they don't like to be manipulated and played games with. So these people could definitely end up alone and like it. The only type of people they will kind of communicate with is the people that are in their routines, like going to the laundromat, going to the grocery store, things of that nature. But ultimately, they will always keep some type of grouping, following, or something that they're into online. These people could be have struggle with their sexuality, always question, because they are kind of androgynous in nature, causing them to identify with male and female. They can feel very masculine and attracted to women, and vice versa. Very feminine and attracted to males if they're the opposite sex. So they can have some very quirky sexual desires. They want to experiment. They are very fascinated with the human body, and so they could be very into very unique ways of sexual expression and sexual connectivity. But they take their emotions out of that. You know, they're not doing it for the emotion, they're doing it for the experience. And what they learn from you, they will teach another person. So that's something that they do. They're very insensitive, but when it comes to just kind of completely breaking it off with people, it can affect them, and it can jade them, and it can make them even more darker. But ultimately, they'll always keep tabs on you to see how you failed in some type of way. They want to know how you failed. Ultimately, yeah, they may, be, hurt over it, but they're gonna wait. And that's something that they kind of is similar to that scorpionic energy. If you would put it in your mind, the Aquarius dark-sided person is going to wait to hear about your downfall and talk about it and chop you up like a dog. And they're going to say, I told you so. That's what you get, stupid. That's what they do. Dark-sided Aquariuses are like that. They're very insensitive. So they rebel against anything that makes them feel like you're trying to control them. If you try to push a religion on them, if you try to push some type of belief system on them, they will practically want to fight you. They're very prone to anger, and they need to be alone. If you start to see them moody, don't try to. Some people you could cheer up. Just don't try to cheer up a dark-sided Aquarius person, because then they're going to direct all of their crazy thoughts onto you and begin to probe your mind and alter your state of being to make you leave upset and angry. And they want you to try them because they're not afraid to get into tussles with people. They're not. They also suffer from that impatient energy, like the fire signs, even the Gemini. They're very smart as well. They deal with higher intellect. So when people are moving slow, it can make them very impatient and like, oh my God, come on, like let's go, like how I said with the Sagittarius, if they're in a store and the line's like along, they'll walk out with it and they won't care. that's something that an Aquarius, dark-sided Aquarius would do. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Please let me know if I missed anything. And thank you so much. And yeah, peace.